like to film the talking parts of this video before I have to leave the house in an hour, so let's try to do this. This episode is going to be about the mechanics of the van. I have so many receipts. I could show you guys and tell you the price of each one. I'm just gonna go off memory. Hopefully I don't forget anything, and yeah, it was a lot of money. So let's get Let's get into it. So one of the first things that I noticed that was wrong with the van was the idling issue. As soon as I got the van, it ran fine, and then as soon as the owner of the van left us, the van started idling like crazy. And it wouldn't go away, and sometimes it would actually go away, but then sometimes it would come back, sometimes it would stay, sometimes it would never happen. It was a very confusing situation, and I also just didn't know what to do, so I started researching absolutely everything that I could think of that could be wrong, and I basically replaced and changed everything that could be wrong. All the fluids, that's what you're supposed to do when you get any used car. You definitely should change all of the oils and fluids in it so you know that it's all just been done. So that's what I did. Was I thought that the issue was maybe some holes in the air intake hoses, or maybe there was a leak somewhere or something was going on. I made this crazy contraption to try to get coolant into the front, because there's this little spot where you pour coolant into right behind the grill, which I don't know why it's there, because everything that has to do with the car is pretty much in the back in the engine. So yeah, that actually helped, burping out the coolant, putting new coolant in, cleaning all the tubes, checking for any leaks or any holes in the tubes. So I did all that. What else did I do? I think that's mainly what I did with the idling problem. It stopped for a good month, and then it came back again. Oh, also before that, along with the idling thing, the oil light would not stop going off. And it was the most frustrating and annoying sound, and it was so loud and obnoxious, and it would just buzz all the time, and I thought the car was gonna blow up each time. So what I did was just change the oil and the oil filter, and that actually solved the problem. So I heard that Westies, they tend to go through oil pretty quickly, so yeah, I have to fill up the oil every 5 times that I fill up the car with gas, which is kind of annoying having to always carry oil on you, but I mean, it is what it is. Next, I noticed that the windows don't want to go down, so I took off this panel that you can see here on the door, and this was the biggest DIY I've ever seen. The previous owner, worked for, I don't know, the parks on the island or something, and he took a park sign and cut out the metal to make it fit the door panel and cut out all the holes. So behind this metal sheet is actually a map of the Pacific Coast Trail, which I think is kind of cool. I basically just soldered the wires back together onto the connection part, because all the wires were just kind of torn apart, and I have to do that again because clearly I didn't do a good enough job, and the passenger side doesn't work anymore. The tires, I was going down the highway and I pumped up the tires because they looked pretty flat, and then I was driving down the highway and kind of feel this heavy, I don't know, the tires were flat. Go out of the car and check. The tires didn't look flat, but people were waving us down saying yo, your tires are flat. Thank God there was a tire shop right off of the highway. They let us use their hoist for free, which was super nice, so I could put the spare tire on because one of them burst and was flat because they were tires from 2003, which I went to auto school. I should have checked all of this shit before. I was just so excited, and also didn't know too much about these older cars, but now I know a lot. I had to get the tires replaced, all 4 of them, because they were from 2003 or wherever. So we went to a used tire shop. I got a brand new set of tires for around $300, which was actually a pretty good deal. They're a little small than what I was wanting, but I'm gonna definitely get bigger tires eventually. The next thing I can think of, rear control arms just completely snapping. I was on a really bumpy road. I was actually laying in the back and someone else was driving, and for some reason this thought came over me that we're gonna break down today. And literally 5 minutes after I have that thought, I didn't even say it out loud, 5 minutes after I have that thought, we came to a complete stop, and the fucking tire is just completely indented and caved in, and the rear control arm just snapped in half. We were going over like some super bumpy roads, so that definitely had to do with it, but also the previous owner was definitely like towing a boat behind this thing and putting it in the salt water, and like the salt water just made it even more rusty because it's not common. Oh, hi. Wanna say hi? Look how big he is. Anyway, Tyne was with me on all these adventures as well, by the way, so he knows the broken down life very well. Don't start biting me, you little shit. Anyway, so rear control arm brakes. We got stuck, like waiting in a non-service area, waiting for someone to come by, take my BCAA number, and call a tow truck for us, because clearly we were out of service. Couldn't do anything, stuck in the middle of the road. Pretty hilarious, but very shitty, because I realized how expensive this is going to be, and then I can't do it myself, and I actually have to take it to the shop for the first time. So this was probably like, I don't know, this happened just in like October or something, or November, I'm not very sure, but this happened recently, and this is the first time since I got the van that I actually had to take it to a shop, or that I actually wanted to take it to a shop. I was actually gonna do the repair by myself, like in front of someone's house, but I realized that it's gonna be a bigger job. I don't have the tools, and I don't want to get a spring in the face. So I decided to get the tow truck to take us to a mechanic. Yeah, I basically was sleeping in a mechanic parking lot for 2 weeks because I couldn't use the van at all. I would sleep in it each night, and then they would put it back on the lift. They fucked me over so hard. I didn't even like, okay. So the first control arm broke, obviously. Like, the second one is gonna fucking lead up right after it. It's fucking common sense. I even knew this, and I don't know shit about cars, really. So yeah, I was like meaning to tell the mechanic, like, yo, can you order the other side as well? Because obviously if one side went, the other side's gonna go as well. But he was so standoffish, didn't give me the time of day, and I couldn't even say anything. And like every time I would go and ask, how's it going, what's up, like, nothing. Like I didn't even exist. It was the weirdest customer service ever. I think this guy just have been dealing with these vans for like a really, really long time, and he's fucking over it, which I understand, but also fuck you. If you're charging me this much, give me the time of day. Like, don't treat me like I'm fucking literally a piece of dust. So that pissed me off. I get a call like a week later after I'm in the parking lot. They can easily just come up to me and talk to me. I was like out of the shop for the day, like, because I was doing stuff during the day to keep myself occupied. I get a call saying, oh, we have to replace this. We also have to order in the second control arm. It's gonna take about another week or more. Sorry for all this. We should have done it in the beginning. And I'm like, thanks. Like, if you would have just gave me the time to talk to you, I would have been able to tell you this. But they didn't, so I was sleeping in the mechanics for longer than I wanted to. Or like the two clamps that hold the sway bar to the frame, because that was like rattling around. What else did they do? They like welded like a little hole or something that was in the frame. They replaced the shocks with like the fucking shittiest shocks I've ever seen in my life. And they replaced the both of the control arms. So all of that came out to a grand total of $4,300 fucking dollars. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I get it, like the fucking control arms, they were like $600 or $800 a piece, but it doesn't take more than 8 hours to fucking put all that stuff together. Like, it doesn't. I know that for a fact. I saw like videos, like people were doing it, and especially if you're a professional and have all the tools, like you can finish all that stuff in like 5 hours. Like, fuck me over basically for the labor. That's why it was so expensive. Anyway, that was a whole shitty experience. That was probably one of the worst experiences I've had dealing with a mechanic. Well, I've actually never really dealt with any mechanics because I always did my own shit. That was like the fucking shittiest thing that like literally kind of crushed me. Honestly, having to pay that fucking much after spending the money I spent on the van itself That really pissed me off. But you know what? You move on, you live, you learn, you make more money, you buy shitty vans to fix them. So I'm not really upset about it because now at least it's fucking safe to drive. I'm just upset that they fucked me over. Like, that's it. So yeah, these are pictures these are pictures of the old shocks. Clearly they were fucking busted. The old control arm and me being stuck in the parking lot. Also, what I've noticed driving around at night in this thing, it has the worst headlights. I can't see anything at night, so I had to replace the headlight bulbs. I got like these LED ones off of Amazon. I have yet to test if they really work at night because I live in the city and it's lit up, and I don't drive around in the city as well. I only drive like when I go somewhere far. I actually heard just recently after putting them in that they're really shitty and that they blind every other driver on the road. But I've noticed like everyone has LED headlights now, so I don't know. We'll see if we go back to the bulbs or if we stay with the LEDs, but apparently LEDs aren't good. That's what I just heard about it. Before I went on my recent travels, my car wouldn't start. Lights would come on, like it was nothing wrong with the battery. It was the starter. So the starter blew. I had to replace that. Yeah, I literally just bought a starter off of Amazon for like $100 that fit my van. Had to do a couple modifications actually to make it fit. Yeah, had to replace the starter. That wasn't too hard or too much money, which was good. And like it was the only thing that was wrong, why the car wasn't starting. So that got replaced. But yeah, so far idling control got fixed. That was the main thing for me because it was so annoying. It was like revving constantly. Like I would be driving around and every time I'd come to a spot, it would just rev and people would stare at me like I don't know how to fucking drive standard. But now that's all fixed. I do have to get like this little thing that I recently discovered. It's an idle control unit. Once when this obviously stops working again, because it's inevitable that it will go back to doing what it was doing. This is just what I have done as a temporary fix. I'm just looking to find that part because it is expensive and it is hard to find. As of right now, the van does not idle. Time, his hair. That's probably brought me up to like $6, almost $7 grand in just repairs on the van, which really sucks because I was not expecting to pay that much that quickly. Like I said to the previous owner, big fuck you for lying to me. Thanks for basically selling us a lemon. Lucky, I love this lemon and I'm gonna take care of it, and it's gonna be a lime soon. A lime? I don't know. Something better than a lemon. It's definitely already better than a lemon now. Okay, off this lemon topic. Yeah, I don't hate the van. I don't hate how much I hate how much I've had to put into it, but to me it is so worth it. To me this is an investment. Some of you might think it's crazy to invest in something 30 years old. I know that. Say that to my last boyfriend. Definitely not too good to invest in something that's 30 years old. I mean, if you love it and you care for it and want it to be better, then you have to put money and time into it, which not a lot of people have the drive and motivation and want to do it. They just want a solid car from the get-go, which I don't know. I didn't tend to use this thing as my daily driver. I wanted to make it like basically a second home. I have my house here in Vancouver that I'm actually, okay, here's the news, you guys.